Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Meditation Moments. So the last couple of weeks we were just starting into getting present and breath length. And what I'd like to do this week is give you a technique to use to start meditation. A lot of times people think that meditation means you have to just sit. And that turns people off because if you try to sit, close your eyes, what happens? We've got that chatter brain, monkey brain, crazy brain, whatever you want to call it, where we just start going 100 miles an hour into the past or the future, which I covered a few episodes ago. So today we're going to give you a technique to start the meditation process. Meditation is not easy. I struggle with it myself many times, and for somebody who's been teaching and practicing different things, along this wellness journey of mine with yoga and meditation, I've been in a meditative state only a handful of times. It does take a lot of practice, concentration, technique, but it's not something to be turned off by with those descriptions. It's just a practice. As I've said before, everything that I'm teaching is a practice. It is not necessarily something to master. It is just something that you will continually practice throughout your life. So today, what we're going to do is called box breath. So again, last week, I introduced you to counting. I had you counting your inhales and exhales, trying to even out your breath or elongate your exhalation. This week, what we're going to do is we're going to create a pattern in your breath. So it's not only good for your breath, it's good for your mind because it gives you something to focus on, and I'm making the box shape because it's called box breath. It gives you something to focus on to take away from all of the chatter. Now, I want to preface this by saying the chatter is not a bad thing. That's our mind, that's our thoughts, and we shouldn't disregard them or ignore them, but we also shouldn't get obsessed by them. And that's what tends to happen with a lot of us, myself included. So the box breath, the counting, again, this is just one of many techniques of meditation, and not every one is good for everybody. So that's what I will be doing, is teaching different types of techniques. You can play around with them, a combination, or maybe one of them really resonates with you, and you stick with that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to start just in our regular easy seat, and you can close your eyes. And as I've mentioned before, if this is not an accessible posture for you, feel free to sit in a chair as long as the chair has an upright back and you're sitting nice and tall in order to keep your chakra system, your energy system in a straight line. So find a comfortable position. You can have your hands on your legs, and it's up to you if you want to go palms up or palms down today. This is where your energy is. Do you need to be uplifted? Or do you need to be grounded? So you decide where it is that you need to be today. Go ahead, close your eyes for a moment and just start with your natural breath. Noticing how the breath is flowing today, what the quality of the breath is. Is it smooth or staggered? Is it shallow or deep? Where is your breath in this moment? So we're not judging it as normal. We're just observing the breath. We're just looking at it like an observer watching a game or watching something from the stands. You're observing your breath to see how it's working today. Now, as you do this, just a couple of physical things. I want you to relax your eyes in their sockets. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Lengthen your spine. Soften the heart and breathe. So I'm going to start to describe. All I need you to do is listen at this point. Describe the practice. So we're going to start with a 4-count breath. I always find 4 is a good number because it's an even number. Some people believe that odd numbers are better, so you're going to pick your own number when you start to do this practice on your own. But for the sake of this practice, we're going to use 4. And what this will look like is you will inhale for 4, you will hold at the top for 4, you'll exhale for 4, and you'll hold at the bottom for 4. So what it'll look like is you'll inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, then you'll hold your breath 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, and then hold at the bottom 2, 3, 4. So that is the practice we're going to do. A couple of notes. If at any point you really feel like your breath is labored, it's too much, you can switch to 3. If you want to do a little more, if you feel like you have the breath capability, you can move up to 5. But I would just stay in that range. The goal isn't so much that we're trying to get a long number, it's just that we're keeping this breath pattern even, moving throughout, and you're allowing yourself to connect with all 4 parts of our breath. Those 4 parts are actually legitimate parts of our breath. There's again, the inhale, the hold, the exhale, and the hold. So also, as we do this, if your brain starts to take over and distractions come in, like you might hear the truck behind me, what I want you to do is just view that as something you can't control and let it pass as if it's sitting on a cloud. Same thing with your own thoughts. Just view them, grab onto them, say, hello, I don't need you right now, and let them pass. And if you get off count, same thing, just let it go, don't get frustrated, and then start all over again. So literally, if you forget where you are because your mind drifts, then just stop, notice it, and start all over again. So we're just going to do a handful of rounds here for today just to explain the practice. So whenever you're ready, if you need to, let's all take a collective breath to start. So inhale, and big sigh out. Actually, let's do that a couple more times to prepare ourselves. Inhale. Last time. Inhale in. Big sigh out. Close your mouth and start to count. So inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold at the bottom. 2, 3, 4. Keep going. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And release. 2, 3, 4. Again. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. On your own. Go ahead and just take another deep breath in. You can release the counting now. Big sigh out. Go ahead, wiggle your fingers, roll your shoulders, bring yourself back into this space. Great, so welcome back. So I hope that that was helpful. I know it's a very short, like I said, these are bite-sized chunks that I'm trying to teach because that's just the start of something for you to work on. The box breath is actually one of my favorites. As you do this, as you were doing this, I had this thought of, do I want to layer music onto this? But then I thought that really takes away from the meditation, which is where we're trying to quiet our minds. So now for you, if you feel like you're just so distracted and you need something like music, it's perfectly fine to have music in the background. My number one suggestion would be solely instrumental, or maybe like an ambient noise, like a white noise, to do something along those lines. Once you get into something with lyrics, especially if it's something you know in your language, then you're going to start getting drifted into singing lyrics in your head. So you can always, in yoga, they always tell us, to have, if you're going to have music in a class, you can have it in another language, like we would put it in, have Sanskrit, Indian music playing, so that it's not distracting to the class. However, I was taught in classical hatha, and in classical hatha, that is the way it was really originated thousands of years ago, which was just old Indian sages sitting in the woods, meditating and moving their bodies. They didn't have props or music or Lululemon pants or anything along those lines. No diss to the company. But so it's about clearing your mind. It's about clearing your head. So realistically, silence is what you're looking for to obtain peace, because silence and peace are not the same thing, but that's for another day. So I hope that you learned something from this. Again, practice with it, play with it. It's actually another good tool to use if you struggle sleeping, or maybe if you have insomnia and you wake up, try it when you're trying to get back to sleep. It's really, really very helpful. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure and subscribe and share with your friends, and we'll catch you next time. Namaste.